You guys are tuned in with me. All right. I'm doing a video. I'm doing this actually from the start. I know you see that 1919. I want that, but all right. I'm gonna open up Pro Tools, and I'm gonna show you how to set up your tracks. You can do this on Cubase, Logic. Mostly any of your major dials out there, digital performance. Um, you could do some routing and Reason, but Reason is a little different. Able to, you can set up tracks as well. And let's get something going. All right, let me turn my internet off because right now I don't need it. That's one of the things when you run recordings like Pro Tools and stuff. It's bad enough that I got stuff open up, so I'm shutting some stuff down. There's live, Pro Tools, Reason, Logic, which I love to use. Logic, I love Reason, I love Live, Pro Tools. See if I can get this thing to open. It has been giving me a little difficulties lately. There we go. There we go. Spending money, you can get this one. Everybody keep telling me why I haven't upgraded to version 11. For those that don't know, when you go from version 10 to 11, 8, 9, and 10 are very similar. There's a couple things different from 8 to 9 and from 9 to 10. But when you go from 10 to 11, it's a whole new ball game. A lot of the stuff that you have in your version 10 won't work in your version um, 11. Actually, I'm gonna open up the session my friend sent me and just let you see what's going on in this session real quick. He sent me tracks and I listened to it, and I really didn't dig what I actually no, this is not the session. This is the one for my daughter. I take that back. This is the one for my daughter. And the guy sent me the track, and it pretty much looked like one of these. It's all one thing. So I kind of went through and separated and put the backgrounds, the lead vocals and the backgrounds together. And I layered them and add effects to different ones. And what I'm doing is I'm actually mixing with the different effects to get one sound. So all this will make one sound. All this will make one sound. So forth and such. But that says 39 tracks. But as you can see, I'm gonna show you something. That's all my tracks right there. Track count. On Pro Tools, on to your left you have your track count, which shows all your track. You can go through and hide your tracks just like that, or you can bring all the tracks back in the same way you did it. You know, another little trick with Pro Tools. Okay, if I click on this, and let's say I see these are like grayed out, that means they are inactive, and I hit shift and click, that highlights everything in between from the click to track 4. Now I'm gonna I'm on a Mac, so I'm two-finger with just right-click for Windows users, and it says make active. Now I can make them active, and the color comes back to them. Click off of it, see the color comes back. But I don't need these right now, so for right now, I'm gonna hide and make inactive. Boom, they disappeared over here. Now they're inactive. Inactive means that whatever processing power it was using, it's no longer using it. Everything is bypassed. The track is bypassed. The effects, everything that's on that track is bypassed. So it doesn't use voices. Pro Tools uses voices. A lot of your DAWs use voices. Even the MPC use voices, poly or mono voices. And that's how I handle a lot of process. And I'm just going through and seeing what's inactive, and I'm hiding it. Because if I don't need it right now, there's no need to let it take up space on a session. All right, and that's I know you're looking at a lot of tracks. I'm gonna break it down to what that means. We're gonna go to the mix window real quick, and you see the tracks show up. This is your groups. I got different groups. I can, as you can see, it's got little letters. Let me see if I can zoom in on that. I can't zoom in on that. It's probably a way, I don't remember. But for now, I'll hide that. As you can see, this little box right here at the bottom, right here, boop, 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 boop. That's how you hide it. If you go Command equal, makes you switch from the range window back to the mixer. Command equal in Pro Tools. Now, like I said, the window is the little dialogue over here. It's to hide it. So you see your tracks and your groups, and tracks. Over here is your regions. To show what's regions that you have. Now, right here, in this little spot right here to the right, I'm gonna hide this real quick. Okay, right here, that's your focus button, and I'm gonna hit R and T. R is to zoom out. As you can see, that's R, and T is to zoom in. Now, if this focus button, I see I turn it off, turn it on, turn it off, turn it off, turn it on. It's for other features. It doesn't work. Now, what I just did is 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's for your zooms. Right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then I can go back to R and T if I want to, hold R down. Oops, sorry about that. I didn't mean to do that. I'll brighten that screen up a little bit so you can see what's going on. I keep my screen kind of dim a lot. Command 1, Command 2, Command 1, see that's your zoom. Command 2, Command 3, which shows your waveform. This is more like your selector tool. This is what you use for editing. Command 4, for grabbing. So you say grab tool, selector tool, trim tool, zoom tool, scrub, command 5, command 6, pencil tool, command 7. It's your smart. So the difference is when you, I'm gonna go down here, and if you watch my little cursor, I'm gonna pick a track. I'm gonna make it large. See, right now it's in select mode. I can select. That's in the smart. But if I slide down like this to track, if I slide track number 25, if I slide down, it becomes a grab tool, and I can grab. That's if I was on the track, but I don't want to move my tracks right now. And I got and if it's grab at the bottom, in the center it's select, in the top corner it's if I had a track without a fade on it, as you can see my fade, but usually when you go to the corner like here, it becomes fade. Now this is the trim tool. See, when you go to command 7, you get to use all 3 of these features at once. You can use them however you place the cursor. But if you go like command 2, now you only can trim back and forth. See, it shows the trim tool back and forth. Command 3, it shows the select. That's all I could do. Command 4, grab. That's all I could do. So most of the time I keep it in. I hit command 7 and keep it in the smart tool, and keep your focus on. Your focus allows you to use shortcuts when you're using this window, Pro Tools. Now I'm gonna go back to the mixes section and try to explain some of this madness. I got tracks labeled. Okay. Lead vocals right here. 21, 22, and 23. Lead vocals. This is your comment section. As you can see, I wrote some comments in there on the EQ cutoff. But one of the things I really haven't mixed this yet. That's why you see the levels kind of at unity. But the main thing I want to focus on right now, which confuses a lot of people, is the routing. IOs, inputs, outputs. As you can see, each one of the lead vocals is going to check right there. Lead vocal submix. LVS, lead vocal submix. Now, when I go to the track that says lead vocals right here, it's going, these 3 tracks, these 3 tracks right here are going to right here. Lead vocal sub. Now, I want to take my lead vocal sub, which I have it going to the main, and I want to route my lead vocal sub to my submix. Right? So I route it to my submix. And I'm getting confused because I can't see the words on there. My letters are so small. So I go across the bottom. That's my mix. Now, my submix is where what I do is I mix all the lead vocals. Then from the lead vocals, I send them to lead vocal submix. Then I take the lead vocal submix and I send it to the submix. Okay, the same with the background, the BGVs. My backgrounds right here, 24 through 28, they go to BGVs, background vocals. Now I take my background vocals, which goes to somewhere over here, BGVs, background vocals, to the submix, and I route this to the submix. So now the lead vocals and the background vocals, they're in their own group, but each group is going to their own submix. So you can mix all the lead vocals together, you mix all the background vocals together, then you can take the lead vocals in the background and mix them to the submix where they meet in the submix, as well as my effects. Let's see, I got a delay, reverb and delay right here. Now I want to route those to my FX submix. Route them to my submix FX. Now if I go to my FX, I think I got one already made. Let me make sure. FX sub right here. Now I want to take my FX submix and route that to my submix. By routing that to the submix, now I got the lead vocals, the background vocals, their effects, all going to the submix. So now you hear them all together once they get to the submix. Now, I think I need to make another track. See, these going to submix. Let me tell you the difference. This is an audio track. This is an aux track. This is the lead vocal, like this is the lead vocal submix, as you can see in the yellow caption. Right here is the lead vocal master. Now, if I got sound going through this one, let's see if I got sound going through the lead vocals. I want to make sure all of them going to the right spot. Oh, whenever you got an aux track, you should always hit Command click to solo safe it. I always want to solo safe your submixes to get the sound out of them. That's why those was grayed out. Okay. Now, once the sound goes into my submix, actually, I think what I did is I made a Vox mix where my vocals will go to Vox submix. And let me change this around from sub to Vox submix. And I'm going to change the BG to Vox submix. The reason you're doing this is it's not to make your track count high, but it's to minimize your effects. As you can see, I don't really have a lot of effects on here. The more effects I got on here, the more processing power it takes. So I got nominal effects on here. I got a reverb, and I got a delay, reverb. That's for tuning. But you see I got a track over here clipping too. See, that's not necessarily good. You don't want clipping tracks. Like this track is clipping. But that is a VCA. I'm gonna explain that in a second. Let's get back to your sub mixes. Make sure you got the sub mixes solo safe. So Command S solo safes the sub mixes, and I got them going to the Vox. And where's my change this one to the Vox as well. And now we have sound. Now, what I would really love to do is make another track for a submix. But instead of using a submix, for now, I'm going to send it to the mix just for training purposes. Because see, I was sending to the submix, and the ones that said all track subs, that will go to the submix. So then everything else, the backgrounds, the lead vocals, the FX, will meet with tracks already bounced down, heavy compressed tracks, EQ tracks. Just if I need to mix it and add a little something, like something missing, maybe the low end, instead of me going through and using more processing, I already got that part processed with more heavy compressed or more bass in it. Then I mix the two together to get a sweet sound, just to fatten up the sound. But this all track sub will go to the sub mix, which is right here, and everything else will go to the sub mix from the Vox mix. But I will have to make, actually I'll do that right now. Sub mix, which is the Vox link to the sub mix. All tracks go to the sub mix. Now I need to make another track. To make a new track is Shift Command N. Make a new track. Command right arrow. Give me stereo. Command down arrow takes me to an aux track. And I hit create. And it's right here. Now you double click on the name in Pro Tools to rename it. Double click. That's how you rename stuff in Pro Tools. And we're going to name this one Submix. I don't think I have a track that says Submix. I'll know in a second. So I name this Submix. And on the input, I'm going to come in and go to bus, and Submix is where it's going to come in. From Submix, bust it to my mix. My mix is my last thing before it goes to my main. I thought I had a mix track. Mix right here. But it goes to all these. This is like your daisy chain. And it's not even mixing. You can hear it. Now, let me tell you about the masters. These are masters. You don't see nothing right here. These are masters. The masters control the actual submixes, the volume. And then the VCAs controls the masters. See that? That's the master. Which is for the rock. From every ocean that we're swimming in, can make the sunshine in a new light. Can make the gray clouds to the blue sky. You see that? But baby, believe me, oh, we can go nowhere but up. From here, my dear. I'm using this one fader, number 13, to control 25 through 29. As long as you're with me, baby, honestly, the strength of our love, we can go nowhere but nowhere but nowhere but so let you know what tracks you got together. We can go I got them grouped, but I need to pick them out of the group so I can control the VCAs by themselves. I can have everything else mixed, and if I need to make small adjustments, I can use the VCAs to make small adjustments. I can use the masters to make adjustments. I can use the sub mixes to make adjustments. I can use the actual track channels that they're on to make adjustments. Setting up your session like this actually benefits you because you got multiple stages, gain stages that you can go through to make adjustments, and it helps out. And in the process, of now on my sub mixes, I can put effects on my sub mixes. Like I can put individual effects on certain tracks. But I'm trying to move faders and stuff and talk at the same time. I guess I can't function like that sometimes. Now, let me tell you about Pro Tools. So we'll go to this track right here, and everything is pretty much highlighted too. Track type. Now, if you look right here, look like a little cross, we can pop the fader out. And you see the fader move. We can pop the fader right out. We can actually do that. Command equal right here as well. We can pop the fader out. And let me the volumes are not right, are not set yet anyway, so and if you come right here to the left, we can see what we got on inserts. I'm gonna just hit the inserts and the scenes so you can see what I got going on. Option, click, option selects everything. We can go boom. Make everything medium size. We can go boom. Everything micro. So everything shorten up. But I want to go at least medium so you can see what's going on in here. See my routing as well, right in your IO, the same place. Now, let's say I got this, which is number 8, popped out. But I want to look at number 8 and number 7 at the same time. Right here, I got a little red dot, red button. I hit this red button, and then I come over to the next one, number 7, and I click number 7, and it pops up. And I'm going to hit the red dot again, and I'm going to move it over, and bam. Now I have both of them, both the faders sitting right there. So I don't necessarily have to go to the mix window to actually pull the fader out to get to the fader. I can pop it out right there and delete them or whatever. But we'll remove them. I'm just trying to give you a quick synopsis of Pro Tools. But like all the track names and stuff, when you actually go into it, yours won't be named. To name yours, you go to Setup, go to I/O. When you go to I/O, right now I don't have my interface hooked up. So for outputs, as you can see, it's only showing the built-in outputs, 1 and 2, left and right. Inputs is only showing the built-in inputs. If I had an interface, you would have, if I had 6 interfaces hooked up, you'll see all inputs for all 6 faders, all 6 interfaces, outputs for all 6 interfaces. So if you, let's say you got a 002, which is 18 in, 18 out, you got 2 002s, now you're doing 36 in and 36 out, you know, and so forth. It just adds them up. But that's through Pro Tools, through the Pro Tools area, which I'm gonna show you right here, where my little right here, the arrogance and the Pro Tools arrogant IO allows you to count up all the interfaces and count them as one. Now to see where all my scenes and my aux tracks, I go to bus. I go to my bus. When in the audio world we call it bussing tracks. You bus a track over. Even on a board, when you're using a board, it's done the same way. You bust a track over on the board by sending a copy of the track over to another track. And that's pretty much what we did. We set up an aux track, which doesn't have any sound. We put a effect on it, and we send a copy. I'm gonna give you a prime example how it works. I'm gonna just do it and just delete it off a track. Okay, we'll look at this delay. But here's before I go into the delay, here's where you set up your bus tracks and you want to label them. Like I say, to rename is double click. It highlights yellow, and I can double click it and change the name. If I don't like none of them, I can go and delete all the paths and make new paths. And I can go in and label them. I can add more. But this is the way this works. Is I have my vocal track, my lead vocal going on my lead vocal. Let me go to lead vocal. My lead vocal track right here. On this lead vocal, I add a reverb. On this lead vocal, I just do it on this track so you can see what I'm doing. I go into my sends, see sends, and then I go into my bus, and I want to bust this to the reverb. Okay, and when I bust it to the reverb, as you see, the fader pops up. This fader allows you to add however much reverb you need for your track. But you hear that? And that's how you send reverb. I can take all of these instead of putting on individual reverbs. I can take all these tracks and use one reverb, put it on the lead vocal sub, which is right here, and I can put the reverb here. But I got it on a dedicated track, so a dedicated aux track. So all the reverb I need to use, instead of putting a whole bunch of reverbs, and I know several tracks gonna need reverb. So what I do is just have it on like a aux track, and I just send it through. Then it goes in through here, and you see what goes to my FX Submix. And from there, I put a whatever amount in, and it goes to my FX Submix, from my FX Submix to my Vox mix. And that's pretty much how you route the tracks. I don't know, it looks like a lot, but I'm telling you, it will make your life a whole lot simpler. And you can always go up to File, Save as a Template. You can save it as a template. If you save it as a template, you always have a copy of it. That way, all you got to do is have your tracks set up for whenever you get a session in or somebody wants you to do their vocals. This is a vocal track. This is set up for vocals. If I wanted to add the music, I will add another track and put the music in on its own track. And immediately once I put I'm going to show you something real quick. Shift Command N, stereo audio track. And it shows up right here. I'm going to move that to the top. And this would be instrumental track. Now I will put my beat on this track, and as you can see, it's hard pan left, -100, hard pan right. What it's doing is it's taking the actual beat and splitting it all the way to the left and all the way to the right. Now that gives you between 99 to -99. They give you that much room to play with panning. But for your lead vocals, keep your lead. As you can see, this is a stereo track. For my instrument, your instruments usually stereo tracks. My lead vocal is mono tracks. Now, I did something different. Some people just use a mono track for your backgrounds, and they stack the backgrounds just a little bit lower than the lead vocals. I want to make my backgrounds full, so what I did is I did background stereo, plus I did a background in mono. As you can see, background, that's a mono channel. That's a mono channel. That's a stereo channel. Let me click on that. And I'm going to show you why I do this. Click on that one. I'm going to put these two tracks side by side. I'm going to click on this one. Now you can see the difference. Mono, stereos, stereo. And you don't see neither one of them pan hard left. Like, let me go back to one of the other tracks that's pan hard left. I'll go to the submix so you can see what I'm talking about. Now, for your instrument track gonna sit hard left, hard right. And maybe that's the one I should have pulled up so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. I'm gonna explain this mixing thing as the best I can without confusing you. Alright, this is the lead vocal track to the right. This is the instrument track next to it. This is background mono, background stereo, background stereo. Now, see the lead vocal, you don't have an option to put it where it needs to, you know, to send it left or right. It's mono, so it stays right in the middle. But you see it sits right on 0. Then my background, as you can see, that's still sitting in the center with the lead vocal. Move these over side by side so you can see them. As you can see, the levels are different. This one's sitting at a negative 14.5. This is sitting at 0.3. Now, they are in two different positions. You say, okay, both of them in the center, but they're at two different positions, which creates a different depth. 0 will put it right in your face, and this one will put you further in the background. That's why they call them background vocals. Not only do I want to pull it in the background, but if you was standing on a choir, you picture this, like if you standing on a choir, you the lead vocal. Usually you have one lead vocal, you have a duet, maybe two vocalists. But behind them, your backgrounds is like a choir. You gotta think of it like this. Your lead vocal, that's you singing. Your background is the whole choir. You got somebody standing behind you. This would be the person standing behind you. This would be the person standing just left and just right of you on this one. This is the person standing just left and just right of this person. So you building around the lead vocals. And that's how you set up your panning. And as far as levels, now I got these set at the same level. Eventually when I start mixing, granted it's going these levels will change where, because if you at the lead vocal, if you sitting there watching the screen, the people on the outside are probably further away from you, all depending where you're sitting. If you're sitting dead in the center, that's where you want to think when you're mixing. You're sitting dead in the center, so the people on the outside, which would be here, will be further away from you. So they're gonna be loud, but not as loud. The ones even closer gonna be a little bit louder, and the center trying to kind of fill in the gap between these two. And then your instruments will sit on the outside, surrounded by everything. That's like your can, you know, like a can of beans. Everything else sit inside of it. That's as far as levels and panning, which give you your positioning in your mix. Now, that's the first thing you want to do. Get your panning and your levels right when you're doing your mix. Now, after that, on your lead vocals, I'm gonna show you some things, because this actually was recorded in a bathroom on a phone. It don't sound like it. But it was recorded. It was recorded in the bathroom. I'm gonna delete some of these because I already explained kind of how the scenes work. The inserts is where you actually put. I'm not. Hold on. The inserts is where you put your effects at. Your scenes is where you send a copy to. That's your copy, your scenes, or your bus. And now I highlight this one track because this is the track, kind of one of the tracks I started with. Now, in Pro Tools, when you tracking, let's say, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna clear all this. I'm gonna hide. Actually, let me explain this first, and then we'll go back to what I was getting ready to do to show you how to track real quick. Let's say this was recording in the bathroom, so I put a crackler, a decrackler in there because it has some crackling sound going on, and play with the thrush and the reduction a little bit to remove some of that. So then after that, I went into EQ and I did my right here I did my EQ suite. And the way that works is I'm gonna actually show you on another different track, probably a different video. But you go in and you find the nasalness. This spot and this spot is nasalness. And to find that is you have to take your gain, which is the up and down, your gain. As you can see, your dBs on the side, your up and down, your gain. This is your frequency on the bottom. And your Q, see it's a Q right there. Q, Q, Q. Your Q is how wide you want to select. So what you do is you select the kind of slim Q. This one is kind of wide. This one is thin. This one is thin. This one is somewhat wide. I kept it kind of wide. But you take your Q and go kind of thin. You push the gain all the way up. You push it up, then you take your frequency right here. You sweep through slowly till you hear that nasalness sound. Once you get to that nasalness sound, which was right here and right here for me, that didn't sound good, then I pulled that down to remove the nasalness. I also didn't need let me move this over some. Because I don't need 100 hertz in my vocals. That's where my bass sit. I don't need all that extra bass, which can be used for my music and my vocals. So I put a cutoff on it, a pad, as some people say. It's on some microphones say pad, but it's a cutoff, which is right here. So we put a cutoff on it. I also boost at 6K 2.9 dB to bring up the high end and the vocals, kind of emulating U87 microphone. That's what I did with that. But I had a lot of pss, pss, pss sounds, so I had to use a de-esser after that to take some of that out of there. And something that, I mean, this is through waves. This is a good little thing here. So a vocal rider. And it does a good job of keeping the sounds close together so you don't get too loud, you don't get too high. You know, it's not really for tuning, but it's to keep you in the pocket, you know, so to speak. And then I compress that. This is another waves compressor. See, it said tight vocals. And I went in and I made my own little adjustments to it. And that's what I did on the vocals. The first vocal. But then I decided I wanted to be able to break these same lead vocals down, because all I had was one track, one take of lead vocals. So this was the first thing I did to it. Then I printed off copies of it from the original, and I went into the original and I did pitch adjustments to it. They all are different. One is allows more highs. Like this just took a lot of the high end. This took the mids, and this took the lows. Now I can juggle through. Let's say once I listen to it and I listen to it in my mix or whatever. If I need a little more high end on the lead vocals, I can come to this fader and push up the lead vocals, and I can go in and push up it's high end on the lead vocals, more mids on the lead vocals, on a little bit low end on the lead vocals. It all depends what I need for the lead vocals. And this is, you don't have to do it this way. That's just the way I decided to do it. It's kind of like using a pair. Some people use a EQ, a multi-compressor, compressor to which is done a lot in the mastering side of things, where you already got a mix and you need to pull out certain frequencies and boost them up. But I just like to do it like this. That way I can put it all in the mix. You know, I'm trying to save myself less mastering work. So if I can do it, have a nice mix, then I'm good. I didn't do that in the vocals because I printed them, the backgrounds, because I printed them out at different frequencies. That's why you see more background. I print them out at different frequencies, but I'm mixing all these together to get one sound, then all the lead vocals together to get one sound. And then I have bounced them down from what he gave me, and I add different effects, and I bounce those effects down in those. I need to go back and label what it was, maybe in the comments. And that's my delay and reverb that you saw all the way at the top, and the original right here, just to sweeten, just to let my daughter hear how it first sounded when I first started. But that's how I did that. And now I'm going to show you something else. So we're gonna go option click, and then we're gonna go right click, hide, and make all inactive. And as you can see, all the tracks disappear. Now, since we don't have no tracks on here, all right, no tracks on here. Now I'm gonna go Command Shift Command N. I'm gonna make okay for this one. We're gonna make this one. We're gonna keep it mono. We're gonna make it an aux track, and then this one we're gonna make it mastering track. And I'm gonna give you a prime example. Oh, I'm gonna need actually I'm gonna need 3 of these. So let's make that 3, and I'll show you why in a second. I'm gonna show you how I do this. Okay, this is my aunt's. We're gonna call that lead vocal. Double click. Now if I go command down, it takes me to the next one, which is aux 3, and it shows up right here. And we're gonna call this one lead vocal verb. Command down, lead vocal, delay, command down, lead vocal, submix, lead vocal, master. Oh. And that's how you set up for your tracks. And then we will go. We're gonna use some tracks that we're not even using, like this 10. We go to 10. Oh, oops, excuse me, that's no input on there. If I had to put a mic on here, I can go interface, mic, whatever, mic 1, mic 2. But right now I don't need an input. Actually, yeah. Then we'll bust this one to 10, and we'll bust this one, input of this one to 13, and this one will be 11, 12, and this one will be 13 as well, because the master controls the submix. That's why they have to have the same thing. Now I can go one step further, which, I mean, you got to have HD to do this, and add a VCA, and then I can go select all, select these. Actually, no, I don't want to do that. I want to select. Select these 3. Command G. I want to group them. We're gonna call this test lead vocal, and we're gonna give them an ID. We're gonna make that a 3G, and that's what's in there, in that group. And for the submix, remember I told you gotta Command S, the solo safe it, and that is how. Oh, in the VCA you gotta go in and say, okay, 3G. That's what I wanted to control, 3G. A lot of times I just make it, instead of making it control the actual faders for the lead vocal, the delay and all that, I usually put it on all my sub mixes and let it control my sub mixes, which give me another game stage. But for now, I'm just showing you how to set it up one more time. Okay. One other thing that I didn't do that we're gonna need, Command Shift N. We're gonna need another aux track, and this aux track is gonna be for something I forgot about. FX sub, and for the FX sub, we're gonna make that 14. Okay, so this will go to 14 because this is a delay and a reverb is a effect, so it will go to 14, which 14 would come into here, and then from there we have FX sub, lead vocal sub, and shift command in. Excuse me, shift command in. And I'm gonna make one more aux track. I know you're looking like, God, them aux tracks is just adding up. But we're gonna call this mix 2. Now in mix 2, okay, we got A lead vocal to 10. Lead vocal submix to 10. Reverb to and then on the reverb we go in and we put in our verb. Just pick one, bam, make it a little plate. Use a plate, something small. Delay, we're going to find a delay. And we're going to use like a little slap delay. Slap or short. Mostly I use slap. Alright. Since these are aux tracks, we're going to solo safe them. Command S, Command S, Command S, Command S. That's going to main. This one gonna go to 15. Okay, this gonna go from that to 15. All right, and this one goes to 13. It's like gang stages. I know I've got the numbers kind of backwards, but it's still going to remain the same. And see, for this, even for this one, I can add another master and a VCA for that one, a master and a VCA for this one, you know, master and VCA for this one, but I'm not going to do all that. That's more gang stages. But I mean, it works out in the end because that's more control you have over your session. And the lead vocals, I got it going to 10 for some obvious reason. When my lead vocals should be going to 13. Because it goes into here, lead vocal subs. That's where the lead vocal meets. And for this one, we got 11. Okay, 11 and 13. Now I go into my send, and I bust to, oh Lord, what I said it was 11 and 12. So I bust to 11. My fader comes in, and I come here and I bust into 12. So now I have a copy of this going into this track, which is 11. A copy of this going into the delay, which is 12 and 12. And they both coming out of 14. I mean, coming out and going into 14. 14 going into here, which is all my effects mixed together. And then my effects is going to go to 13, which is where it's going to meet with the lead vocals, which is going to 13. And then from there it's going to 15, which is my mix. And then my mix is going straight out. And that's pretty much how you set up for your routing in Pro Tools. Just give you different gain stages. I can actually go in and import some audio or something in here, and or just record myself in or something. Yeah, just show you how it worked, you know. But I think my video time might be getting pretty long, so I don't know how long I've been actually talking, and I'm gonna have to break this video down into parts to upload it. But that was my session for my daughter. A friend of hers, I just playing around with his vocals. He did them actually on the phone. Even if you want to clear sound up, if you want to clean up some audio, you can set up the same way. Instead of using your reverb and your delay, you can keep the reverb and delay and eventually add it to your sound. But if you need make the sound kind of more raw without all the effects or something, let's say like you're doing, even like if you're doing some a podcast or some voiceover, still there's a little bit of reverb and delay. I mean, you think about when you're sitting in a room and you're talking, unless you in a dead room, there's going to be reverb and delay, which is your natural reverb and natural delay. So you want to imitate that sound, and it actually makes your sound a little bit bigger. Now, if you want to clean it, you can go through gain stages and set up more aux tracks and have it going through to clean up the audio. Or you could do like I did on the other one where I had the EQ and all that. And if you just got one set of vocals, you know, you don't have to do all these gain stages to do one strip of vocals to clean it up. But if you have multiple vocals, multiple takes, you might want to go through little gain stages. I mean, it seems like a lot of work to set up the channels, the tracks, but if you write it all down, save yourself a template, save your template, you can just open your template up, name your template, go back into your template. Anytime you have to do this, I also have templates for post-production, which is going to be on another video. It's set up through gain stages as well. It's a lot of color coding. Usually this is color coded. I got my over here. I usually have my color code set, and I can go in and set my color codes to the regions or whatever, you know, so everything can have its own color code. And I kind of got it. It'll actually do it on a default where to make these colors, but I got that turned off because that takes up more space too. When you start doing all that, here you go. See the colors? You go right in here, the colors, and different things got different colors. And this helps out too because all the green ones right here are submixes. The masters are red. The audio is a lighter blue and the VCA is a darker blue. And only thing I probably would do differently is I should have used a shortcut on that. But like for this track here, I will actually go in and change the color to like a purple or something, because I wouldn't want to get these two mixed up, and do all my VCAs in purple. So now I'm gonna select all these tracks, option click, and we're gonna make these make inactive. You see the colors are still there. See, select individual tracks. That's command click. Option click, select them all. Deselect them. You click one, shift, and say I want 5 tracks. It clicks all 5 tracks, what's in between. Shift click, it doesn't do anything, but remove them one at a time. Just like command click, move the individual ones one at a time. Shift does everything in between, option does it all. Control allows you to, it's a constraint. It keeps you from moving things out of alignment. Now, since I made those inactive, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna go back into here, and I don't need all these things, so I'm gonna hide them again. I'm gonna leave my color on there. I really don't need my IOs right now, but I'm gonna just leave them on there so you can see how it ends up with all the color. And the color comes back to the tracks. Now, you look and say, God, that's a lot of stuff. But with the color come in, you know, that helps out a lot to understand what you got going on. You know, few things about Pro Tools as well. Let me make these tracks active again. Make active. The color comes back in. And I can actually go in here and color all these the same color so you know they belong together. Just like these, which that's probably what I end up doing. Okay. You can see this one don't even have a track right there. Because this wasn't even a track that I was supposed to use for in my backgrounds. So I'm going to hide and make it active. I'm going to hide this one and make it inactive as well. Oops. Hide and make it inactive. And these are inactive, so I'm going to bring them back. Make active again. Now, if you got if you're using your laptop, there's a few functions that you can still do, but it's a little harder to get to. But if you got a keyboard with a numeric keypad, that's what you want, because there's a lot of features over there that you can use to make this a lot easier. You can do memory locators where you can call up certain tracks. Let's say if I want to just call up all 4 of these, I can delete everything else, or not delete them, but hide them, and have all these at a click of a button, you know. Or I can go from having these 4 to having those 4 disappear, and then I got these. Or having them disappear, and then I got these. Or having these and these together. Or having these and these together. Or just my aux, or just my subs, or just my masters, or just my VCAs, or however I want to do it. You know, when you're going through a mix. And this is how it's professionally done, pretty much, in the music industry. So if you're getting tracks done and your tracks ain't looking like that, then somebody might not be doing what they're supposed to be doing to your tracks, you know. So, so it's you have the right to say, "Let me see my session." You know, if you're going to be paying for the session and paying for everything, you have a right to look at your session and see what it looks like. And you know, by the time you may look at it, and you may only see one track on there. And then if you're in Pro Tools, hey, tell them click over here and see what tracks they got open. And some people go ahead and bounce it all down, and by the time they bounce it all down, then you stuck with whatever they give you. Okay, I know I put those tracks on there, but I just thought about something that I said I was going to show you guys. So let me how to make them inactive again. And let's go back to hide, instrument, verb, delay. Okay, put those. Okay. Why did I delete this track? Okay. This is all the stuff that we was seeing earlier that we broke down for a little practice session or whatever, practice routing. Okay, I'm gonna make these a little bit bigger, and I'm gonna show you how to record your vocals on here. Okay, this is my vocal track. I will go in and I will, you know, if I had an input, you know, which none of mine are showing right now, I can go in and set my microphone. Um, Let me do this right here. Command S freaking. Okay, but in Pro Tools, right here where it says volume, I'm on the wrong track. Let me do like this. Make it easier for you. I'll just hide these. Okay, and I'm making it a little bit bigger. Okay, when you go into here where it says waveform, this is my audio track that I will record on where it's a waveform. I will go in here and go into playlist, and as you can see, there's nothing. Now, I'm gonna go back to waveform. I'm gonna just drag something in, Shift Command I, bring some audio in from a different track. I'll just bring a copy of the same vocals in. Done. Alright, we'll do it like that. We'll play it like that. That way I ain't gotta do all this other craziness. Okay. R&T, remember that? R&T. Alright. Now, if I click right beside the name, there's a little drop down arrow. Say playlist selector. You click here. Let's say we just recorded this. And we decided we want to, that's one take. We want to do another take. We click right here in the drop down and say new. And then it asks us what we want to name it. And it actually puts a 0.01 on the end of it. And we're going to leave that there for now. And as you can see, there's highlighted where the region was, but there's no region. You think you lost the region. I mean, the region is still there. Prime example, and go back in here and see. This is the region that's showing. This is the one that was already here. Now I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna hit duplicate, and now it says O2. And I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna duplicate again just to show you what you can do with takes. But just could be you every time you go in and you hit this and you hit new, you can record a new take, a new take, a new take, a new take. And once you get all the takes, then it shows you a playlist, which is this. This is all the tracks. Now to see all that at one time for editing, comping tracks, you click on waveform and go to playlist. And as you can see, those two tracks that I made is right here. Now, from here, I'll go option, medium, make everything where I can see it. And as you can see, there's the actual tracks, which is copies of copies, you know. Now, right here, you see a little arrow that goes up. We can solo this just to hear this one. Let's say this one of your takes. You say, okay, I'll listen to this take. I like this part of it, you know. We can go nowhere but up from here, my dear. Or we can go. I mean, it's the same track whether I we can go nowhere but if it was different takes, it would be different takes. But if that's all I wanted, I can go in here. Or we can go nowhere but find a zero crossing. We can go nowhere. And I can select that part right there, and then I can tell it, okay, I like that part, and this is take 1, take 2, maybe take 3, 4, 5, such on however many takes. But you like that part when you're comping the tracks, you select that part and you hit the up arrow and it pushes it up. Okay, I like this part on this one. And then I push it up, you know. And then this part, I like this part on this track. Then I push it up. I'm gonna take that solo off. And this is how you comp tracks in Pro Tools. I'm giving you a lot of information tonight. Same thing here. I'm just going through selecting stuff, you know. In between, this kind of trying to get at the zero crossing a little bit, you know. So we don't get any popping for now. But usually once I get this, first thing I usually do is strip silence. And I'm in grid mode, and I mean grid mode is good, but for what I'm doing, you know, sometimes it don't land like this. Didn't land right on the grid, so I got to get in between the grids. So I'm gonna go like this and put it in the slip mode so I can get where I need to be, you know. And I think you get the picture. You know, this is how you comp tracks using Pro Tools. Logic has a different way to do it. Some of the other programs have a different way to do it. Okay, and now that I got all those parts selected, and I can go back to playlist and put it on waveform. Now this is all my tracks. Now to select everything, like you can select this part and play that part, but you have to select it before you hit play. As long as or I can just highlight a certain part. Take it to the sky, take it to the sky, take it to. You know, but to there's the little the little box. That's for adding phase. Now, first thing I want to do, since I know everything is pretty much at the zero crossing, because I'm sure of that, I go here in the center where it looks like the selector tool. This is selector tool. Triple click, and it selects everything on the region. And now I hit Command F, and I got my phase, my batch phase set at 2. So it's going to put a 2 millisecond fade in between each region. And if you don't believe it, I will zoom in so you can see it. There's one. There's another one. Front and top and tail. See, it puts a crossfade in it automatically. And now that I did that, I'm gonna go to the end. I mean, since I got it all highlighted, I can go ahead and consolidate it. But I'm gonna show you the sure way to make sure you consolidate it. Now, okay, let's say if I got too much on this tail end, I'm gonna click here. See, it's still allowing me to click the individual regions. Now, if I hit the, I'm gonna make it big, T. Now I can see the beginning of the actual region, and if I hit the right arrow, it takes me to the end. back to the front, to the end, back to the front. The Pro Tools allow you to maneuver back and forth. Okay. Now I'm at the end. I hit the right arrow. Actually, I'm gonna just hit out here in the space. Okay. We hit out here in the space. There's a couple ways to do this. One is like I could triple click and select them all, but maybe I might not want to select everything in there, you know. I can go here and hit click in there and hit my tab, option tab. And it takes me right to the end of my very last track. Now I can go shift and return, and it'll select shift, allows you to select, and you can select everything in the whole region using shift and return, or triple click and select everything in the region, or I can do it the slow way, shift option tab. See, I can select individual ones, you know. The shift return is the best thing when you're gonna select them all. Shift return, triple click, and it takes you from the end to the front. From the end to the front. Now I hit shift option 3, and it consolidate everything back into one track. And that's how you consolidate. That's how you comp your tracks. And I will go into pocketing, but that's a whole nother story. It's dealing with time. And it's already 1:20 in the morning. And I have to be at school at 1 tomorrow evening. But still, I mean, I get to sleep in. But that's how you do that. And for now, I'm going to not save this track. And delete. Delete. Now, one of the things I want to do when you start getting too many tracks, and I'm going to highlight everything to make sure we don't have audio that we don't need, because audio that we don't need takes up a lot of space. Option, make all active. Everything active. Okay, everything is active. There's all my little tracks or whatever. Now, Command S. Now I'm gonna come over here, regions list, and I'm gonna click on the drop arrow, select unused, and that's all the unused tracks. You see, I deleted the tracks, but the unused is still sitting there. And once I select the unused, then I go clear, and I want to delete them. Yes. And these are all the tracks that's actually in here. That's the fade files and everything. Now, I can always do like I did, hit the tab and go back to, and but I haven't did any automation or everything. So before I consolidate them, I want to mix it and get a good mix on it how I want it, automation on it, and then actually go and then consolidate after it's automated. You know, when you go into automation mode, Pro Tools has this little drop down arrow. I can do the volume, the trim, and mute. So I can go in and select, let's say, mute in certain parts of it, like here, where I'm not even using anything, and I select that part. So when they get to that point, it mutes. And I'm going to take it off of mute. You can do the panning. It's a lot of things. You can get all the way into features. Now, I'm going to show you how that works. Watch my mute buttons right here of these tracks. Let me hide this again. In a new light, you can make the gray clouds to the blue skies. I know it's hard, but baby, believe me. Oh, we can go nowhere but up. From here, my dear, we can go nowhere but up. Oh, tell me what we've got to feel. See, the mute's popped on. That's automation. I just wrote automation on the mute. Since there's nothing there, I mean, I don't need like all my spots that's empty. I can actually go in and mute it so it don't take up extra processing power. So it don't take up extra processing power. Go and mute what I don't need right now, and then I can actually bounce all that down, the automation down, and once I bounce it down, we'll get a good mix on it and bounce it all down, and then on here, once I get my finals, that's a lot of tracks, huh? That's 49, and I didn't even set up for TV, which is which, I mean, I don't have an instrument. It's more acapella and backgrounds, but I can just set up where you can print just all the lead vocals. I can set up where it just print all the backgrounds. I can set up where it prints the lead vocals and the background with effects, without effects, effects up 1 dB, effects down 1 dB, volume up 1 dB, volume down 1 dB. You know, however I want to do it. And I can have it where it's set up through this gain stages. The whole purpose in routing is so you can control the gain stages, and the effects, you can control everything in the mix. Plus, in the end, when you need to print, instead of printing each track out one at a time, you can go and do multiple prints. And let's say if you need to print out 22 different tracks. I mean, granted, if you got a computer that's strong enough to do that, you got processing power strong enough to do that, and print 16 tracks or 12 tracks at one time, 22 tracks at one time, different tracks with different meanings. But you can set that all up in your routing. So it's a one-time deal where you say, okay, I want to print, you know, all these different stems out. You just print out your stems, different things for and set it up for mastering. And you can go ahead and print out all your stems, or for your client, you can go ahead, or unless you are the client and this is what you want to take to a studio. But when you take it to a studio, you just don't need, I mean, it's just good to have a demo, but it's good to go there ready, you know, because if you got a good mix and it's set up for mastering, and you take it to the studio, because a lot of times you may take it in there and it's be a stereo track, and they may say we want to re-record it, and you know, then they charge you for the recording time, or they say, do you have the stems? You'll have a copy of the stems, or if you have it already in stereo, then they say, oh, we got to take it to the mastering process, and it might be so horrible mixed that they can't take it I mean, they can take it through the mastering process and can't clear but so much out of it. And always watch out for clipping. On the VCAs, it really don't matter on the VCAs because VCAs has no sound. It has no sound. It just controls the faders. But this is my video, quick video on Pro Tools. There will be more to come. Mixing, production, podcasting, broadcasting, a few other voiceover, sound design, a few other things. All right, you guys stay in tune. I'm finna shut this system down. And let's stop this video. Thank you for bearing with me. And you can also do screenshots. Bam. Screenshots. That's why I love the Mac.